I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about I lied and had an affair. Obviously, people make mistakes in life and they can do very selfish and hurtful things. And in this situation, we're going to be dealing with a woman that lied to her husband and had an affair. Obviously, it's a very painful thing to do to someone else. And in no way am I going to condone doing that to someone. And I know you guys are hurting, and so you're going to be really reactive to what's going on in this situation. But people make mistakes, and hopefully they want to attune for those things and change and grow and become a better person. We here at the channel really believe in growth, and we know that many of you are in situations where you were not innocent. Maybe you were lying or texting other people or doing things wrong. And our job is to help you grow and change. You know, we can be tough at times, but essentially we want people to learn from their mistakes and feel safe enough on the channel where they can share difficult things with us. So in this video, I am going to be talking about someone that did lie and have an affair. Okay, so this is actually from a married woman who met a guy in his early 40s. She was in her late 30s. Now, she was married at the time that they met. And this is where it gets really shady, okay? She was unhappy in her marriage and planning on divorcing her husband. The problem, and this is a big problem, is that she didn't tell her husband she was leaving him. So everything that she did was under the guise that he and her were together and he didn't know anything was going on. Now, I don't know anything about the husband. I don't know who he is or how he treated her. I don't know if he was emotionally abusive at all. I know very little about him. Now, that doesn't mean that it's right what she does here, but I just want to make the point that I don't know anything about the marriage. All I know is what I tell you here, okay? This is from an email coaching. I did not do a Skype call with this woman. So, she said that she met this guy online on a dating app, and she says, I was married at the time of our meeting. I was planning on divorcing my husband, but had not told him yet. So, let's call this guy Mike, was an affair partner. My soon-to-be ex-husband and I have a child together. I'll leave it vague, but they do have a young child together. Mike and I dated from the spring of 2023 into the summer of 2024. I wrote in my profile that I was a single mom going through a divorce when I had met Mike and hadn't even told my husband that I was leaving yet. So that's a big issue, okay? And a lot of people are really going to be hurt and angry hearing that, and rightfully so. This is wrong to do. If you're not happy in a relationship, the healthy thing to do is to leave, get out of the situation, because even if you do try to move on and have a relationship, you're going to see all the drama that ensues because of that. Had she done things correctly, her situation would be very different. And this is why I talk about, like I did the video, beginnings can explain endings. How you get into a relationship is going to impact how that other person sees you. In other words, if you're lying and cheating at the start of the relationship, they're going to unconsciously or consciously think, well, how do I know you're not going to do that to me? And they're going to be a lot less likely to take you seriously. So If you're thinking you're going to get something meaningful, starting a situation based on lies and mistrust, it's very, very likely going to come back and bite you. Some people might say that it's karma, whatever. I'm not trying to judge here. My job as a coach is to help you grow, move forward, act like a healthy adult. And obviously, this is not healthy behavior. Like I said, I don't know how unhappy she had been. I don't know anything about the marriage. But yes, she should have left the husband before trying to meet anybody else. But this is about our insecurities, right? A secure, healthy person is not going to do this. Okay? If you feel good about who you are, you're going to do the right thing. But when we have a lot of anxiety, that often makes us do the wrong thing because we're maybe afraid to be alone. And so she's afraid to go from a marriage to being single and staying alone and single. That's the healthy thing to do. Not to start getting on a dating site when you have a child and you have a husband, because you're going to see a lot of issues come from that. And it's no surprise. But sometimes we're not thinking clearly when we're going through an emotional time. Our relationship started based on me bending the truth. That's not bending the truth. You're lying, okay? This is not bending the truth. You were married, you got on a dating site, you had an affair, you were lying to your husband, maybe by omission, you're cheating on him, and you're lying to this new guy too. And he's not going to just ignore that. He's not going to just say, oh, she was unhappy and, she was planning on leaving. No, he's going to think in the back of his mind, this is not right for her to do, and he's going to be a lot less likely to take her seriously and this relationship seriously. Plus, all the other issues that are going to come, as you're going to see. We hit it off, and within a few months, I was starting to fall in love. A few months in, I decided to tell him I was at the beginning of the divorce process. So she kind of came clean, but I doubt she told him the real truth. He was a little surprised, but understanding. He said he wanted to stay with me through the process. Now, I'm sure his interest level was very high. It's the early stages of the relationship. Lust is really strong at that point, all the chemicals being released. But as those things come down in time, he's going to be thinking more clearly about, is this the right person for me? Is she someone I really want to be with long term? Lots more drama occurred over the coming months when my husband found out through an ex-friend about my affair. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they became an ex-friend after you told them the truth. I don't know how they found out about the affair. But, is anybody feeling bad that the husband finds out here? He had a right to know. I'm glad that he found out. I don't think it's right that, she was having an affair like this. Now, I'm not saying he's even a good guy. I don't know anything about him. But it's not good to make people stay with you in a situation where they have really no understanding of what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, he's staying with you based on a lie, thinking that you love him or want to be with him. If he knew what you were doing, he probably would say, no, I'm out of here. I don't want to be in this situation. So it's not fair to keep somebody because you're afraid to be alone. I filed for a divorce in late summer of 2023, but I got overwhelmed and the reality of my repercussions were starting to hit. Before I knew it, I had made no progress and was no closer to being free and clear to be with Mike. Meanwhile, we grew close. After my husband found out about my affair, I had to be on my quote-unquote best behavior so that he would not try and create custody problems. Well, you can imagine, if you find out your partner's having an affair, you're going to be so angry, you're going to want to hurt them back. And that's normal. He wants to get back at you. And so now he's going to really fight for custody because he knows that's where it's really going to hurt you. The time I got to spend with Mike decreased more. Mike understood this and was more accommodating throughout the process, from the winter to the spring of 2024. We'd had many discussions about my divorce progress, but I had grown scared to share my child and ensuing financial hardships. I was working hard towards my exit, but very slow. Yeah, so he's probably frustrated, annoyed, irritated, not wanting to deal with all the drama. First, he was really excited about where this was going. Then he finds out you're married. Then all the realities of being with you are going to come out. You're having custody issues. You're having financial problems. Your husband's trying to make your life miserable. He's going to want revenge. It's going to cause a lot of issues. And so it's going to make somebody a lot less likely to want to be in that situation and going through it, especially if it's going really slow. In summer of 2024, I was only able to see Mike every couple of weeks. He was growing lonely by this point, and by midsummer called me and poured his heart out. Told me he needed more out of our relationship. We talked, and it ended on a good note. Things got swept under the rug. I'm learning. The following week, he became distant, not responding to texts. I drove to his house to check on him. We argued about his lack of communication. Sure, she's feeling the disconnect. Now they're fighting. He stopped talking to me. I called him the following morning and he broke up with me, saying he just couldn't do it anymore. His cup wasn't full because I hadn't made any progress in my divorce. People are only going to have so much patience with anything. And, all of the issues are piling up. He's seeing you less. You're not making any progress. He's probably feeling like, what is the point of this? It's not going anywhere. I had no time for anyone. I was a prisoner at home since I hadn't left the marriage yet, and he didn't want to be part of it anymore. He said love wasn't enough. He said he hadn't met anyone else. I was so shocked by the fact that I was going to be ghosted after over a year together. I told him I dodged a bullet. The irony here is that many people are probably thinking that either he dodged a bullet or your husband dodged a bullet. And I know you were probably upset at the time when you said that, but how is what Mike is doing in this situation, how is he the bullet? How is he the issue? He's not wanting to stay in a relationship with somebody who's married and the divorce isn't progressing? That seems pretty reasonable to me. And you're saying and you're acting like he's the problem, but you had the affair. You were the one lying. You lied to him. You lied to your husband. You had an affair. We have to be accountable. We have to see things more clearly. And I'm not trying to beat you up here because, quite honestly, anybody in the comments is probably going to do that. But you got to see things for what they are. And you have to take a step back and really be empathetic as to how Mike is feeling, your husband, your child. There's a lot going on here. I don't blame him for being frustrated in this situation and, quite honestly, rethinking all of it. He blocked me on everything. I went no contact for 11 days before emailing him an apology. I had also messaged him on the dating app where we met and found him on there and asked him why he blocked me on everything. I restarted no contact after the email. Is there any hope left for us after starting no contact? Well, this is a tough situation for obviously a lot of reasons. Your divorce is still not finalized. I don't know if you've made much progress in that, but even if you do get divorced in a relatively, reasonable amount of time, Mike still has to deal with the mistrust and the issues that happened here. Don't think that Mike's going to ignore the fact that you were married having an affair. If he does, I think he'll only do it for so long. I think it's going to always be in the back of his mind, whether he says it or not. Because I think at the very least, he's going to think, I don't know how trustworthy she is. Now, again, I don't know how unhappy she was or how long she was unhappy in her marriage. But there's a lot of things going on with other people and how they're going to view you. And new partners are how they're going to view you and how safe it is to be with you. You know what I mean? They're going to consider how trustworthy you are. Maybe he feels like you weren't being honest about the divorce progress or how fast it was going. I don't know what he's thinking there. But, if he does come back around, I think you're going to have to, talk about the marriage, why it wasn't working. I think you're going to really have to show him why you feel remorseful about what you did. Because honestly, I didn't see any remorse in this email. But hopefully you feel at least guilty about how you've handled things. Maybe your husband treated you really poorly, and so you don't really feel bad about that. I don't know. But hopefully at least you are looking at yourself saying, I don't like what I did. I don't like the decisions I made, and I don't want to do those things again, regardless of the other person, meaning regardless of how your husband may have treated you or mistreated you. You want to live internally with feeling good about yourself. And that goes for all of us. When we do things that we don't feel good about, it impacts us. It's going to impact you to do something that you don't like, that doesn't line up with your moral compass or who you are inside. It's going to make you unhappy, maybe depressed, feel guilt, shame, embarrassment. All of those things impact us. So you always want to act from a place that you feel good about, So if Mike comes back, I think you have to have some real honest conversations, probably some difficult conversations, and really show ownership to what you have done, really get his understanding about maybe how he saw it. Is he going to have a hard time trusting you? Or how difficult of a time is he having over trusting you? I don't know. He didn't say it based on this. But it doesn't mean he wasn't thinking it or feeling it. Ghosting her obviously was not right for him to do either. Like, what's going on with this guy that he just ghosted her after being together for over a year? I mean, I guess he kind of told her he was frustrated and couldn't deal with it anymore. But I guess he didn't say anything like, well, call me when the divorce is final, which he could have said or done. Or maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he's just like over the whole situation because of all the drama and negativity that came from this. So it's hard to say what's going to happen here. But hopefully she gets through this divorce, finds a way to focus on being positive, learning, focusing on being a great mom, and trying to have a relatively reasonable relationship with the husband who's the father of the kid. I know he's hurt. I know he's angry. I know he's going to want to get back at you, and he's probably going to mistreat you because of that, or, take it out on you. I mean, who wouldn't be hurt in that situation? So you're going to probably have to be patient and set some limits, but also be patient. So I think really you should focus on exiting the marriage, establishing a new routine for your child, for you, getting them into a new home, or maybe you're staying in the same home and your husband is moving out. I don't know. But establishing something healthy and reasonable there. And then, working through your own issues, getting to a good place, heal from the divorce. I'd suggest getting into therapy. Do all that stuff before you consider jumping into something new here. All right, so this is a tough situation, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of negative comments. So let's hope that she gets her life turned around in a positive way, at least for the well-being of her child. Okay? Hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get my help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. You can get my creative healing course and my workbooks there. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.